Hi everyone, my name is Robin and I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about two of my biggest passions, entrepreneurship and storytelling. Now I'd like to start off by introducing you to one of my favorite entrepreneurs who I will actually tell you the name of at the end of my presentation. So, let's take a trip back to the 70s when air travel was just as big a pain in the butt as it is now. This particular entrepreneur booked a ticket to the Virgin Islands when his flight was cancelled. Fed up with the poor service, he decided to charter his own plane to the Virgin Islands and pay for the flight by selling tickets to people whose flights had also been cancelled. Something that would definitely warrant an investigation by airport authorities these days. So what this man did is he walked around the airport carrying a sign that said Virgin Islands flight for $29. And at that price, it's absolutely no surprise that he sold the flight out as quick as he did. Now, storytelling does three very important things that help lead to successful entrepreneurship. The first thing is it helps to formulate clear ideas about what the problem that needs to be solved, along with how to go about solving that problem. 2, it facilitates the problem-solving process by engaging people and soliciting their inputs. 3, the ability to tell a good story is paramount to having the ability to lead and inspire those around you effectively. I'd like to start with telling you by talking about how storytelling aids in the clarification of ideas. Storytelling allows for the formulation and definition of what the problem that needs to be solved is. This helps to make it clear to everyone else who is taking part in the entrepreneurial endeavor. Storytelling helps to frame the situation so that everyone can work on clarifying the problem as a collective, utilizing each individual's specific skills. The discussion of a problem through storytelling helps to put everyone in the same mindset and allows everyone to be on the same page about where the problem exists and, most importantly, why this particular problem exists. A story can do this by being told as a narrative in which the story is told from the perspective of the person who is present at the time the problem is occurring. A narrative provides the thoughts of the narrator as they were in the situation and helps people see themselves in the same position and the logic behind how the solution was found. Once the equilibrium of thinking is established, people begin to see the situation in the same light as the entrepreneur. This may be a way in which they had never been able to see the problem before. This change of perspective helps to create a platform for people to apply old skills in a new context and to identify the problem with a new level of clarity so that they can effectively find a way to solve that problem. The activity of storytelling is an exchange of knowledge because the goal of entrepreneurship revolves around the creation of new products or the use of old products in new ways. This conveniently leads me into my next point, and that is that storytelling is an effective tool for problem solving. Storytelling provides a framework in which outstanding problem solving can occur because of the way it brings people together. Storytelling for the purpose of problem solving means that, or really gives meaning to the old adage, 2 heads are better than 1. A well-told story engages the audience, it draws them in, and builds an interest in the identified problem. This shared interest builds an atmosphere of co-narration of the story. And in terms of problem solving, it begins to foster the process of collaboration, which is extremely important for coming up with the most effective solution possible to the identified problem. An important part of problem solving is discourse between individuals. Discourse can be one member of the group sharing a story about how they solved a problem at a different time. This leads to a brainstorming of possible solutions for the current problem and the refining and combining of the different possible solutions to create a product or service to fill the need. A good storyteller is oftentimes a strong leader because they help to facilitate communication between individuals. They initiate the discussions that start the problem-solving phase. This is a very important thing that every entrepreneur needs to be able to do. It's impossible to define a problem, let alone solve that problem, and seek out a solution without a strong leader. Time and time again, we see that a good leader has the ability to captivate people with their storytelling abilities. Storytelling is an effective way to communicate, inspire, and lead in entrepreneurship. Communication is one of the most fundamental aspects to successful entrepreneurship. Storytelling is one of the most basic forms of communication of ideas. By telling a story, you can convey information in a dynamic way that allow individuals to draw from the story the inspiration they need and want in order to really solve the problem. Storytelling is one of the most effective ways to communicate in general. However, it's also an extremely powerful way to transmit values and subjective norms about the way the entrepreneur wants to build and operate the company, as well as the goals they want to achieve, and communicate the brand the company wants to imbue. Storytelling does this by taking the listener through a narrative that show them not only what these values and goals and norms are, but moreover, why they are so important. These narratives seek to inspire individuals to see the entrepreneur's point of view, and the act of storytelling creates a common ground between the individuals and the entrepreneur, which hopefully further inspires individuals to work to achieve the now common goals and espouse those values. The goal of storytelling in these contexts is to lead people into the future of the company and make them feel like an important and integrated component. This brings me to the end of my presentation, but to reiterate, I'd like to say that effective storytelling helps entrepreneurship in three ways. One, it clarifies the idea. Two, it initiates the problem-solving process and helps to facilitate a framework for it to occur within. And three, an effective storyteller is often a strong leader. So I would like to tell you that the person who I told the story about at the beginning was Richard Branson, and I'd like to leave you with this thought. The next time you tell a story, make sure it's a good one, because you never know who you could inspire and what you could inspire them to do, solve, or innovate. Thank you.